Hey, how's it going? My name's Blake, and I just finished the game Soma last night. This is a video where I'm just going to talk about my final thoughts on the game. You know, for just a fresh experience. Haven't really talked with anybody else about it, or seen any other person's experience with this game yet. So here we go, I'm just going to do this right now. Soma is an excellent as an experience, but is rather bare as a game. And what I mean by that is that there isn't a whole lot to do aside from progress through the story, explore the environment, and get scared. I feel like that's really all they were going for, but they really succeeded in all of that. There is puzzle solving in this game, which helps pad out the spaces in between all the events, and while simple, they were all unique and kind of cool, but I wouldn't say that they were the main focus. I definitely would recommend this game for anybody that enjoys the horror and sci-fi genres, or anyone that can appreciate atmosphere and immersion. My favorite part of Soma by far is the atmosphere. Frictional Games is a master of atmosphere, as they demonstrate with their fantastic visuals and absolutely insane sound design. The world feels so deep and real, and the setting is unique. It's so easy to immerse yourself and get lost in the ambient sounds, often being tricked into thinking someone's behind you, either from the spatter of nearby structure gel dripping onto the floor, or even the echoing sounds of your own footsteps. The lighting is brilliant, often subtly illuminating the way forth, subconsciously drawing your attention to switches and pathways. And there are so many memorable shots. I mean, the cinematography is just terrific. Every location felt so unique and had its own artistic design, even though the game kind of got repetitive near the end after basically doing Greek letter station, ocean part, Greek letter station, ocean part, the whole time. Each area had something new. Frictional Games is also a master of tension. The use of sound effects and visuals is used very intelligently to instill tension, paranoia, and even terror in the player. Sounds that flitter and crawl up your spine can really stress you out and increases the adrenaline rush tenfold when getting chased down by the monsters. And when you've had enough, soothing sound waves will comfort you. This game is definitely a roller coaster ride for your heart rate. But I found it to be kind of a double-edged sword, since this kind of sound design obviously telegraphs when monsters are about to appear, or when they're nearby, or sections where the monster is gone and it's safe, so I didn't really have a whole lot of surprises in my playthrough. So let's talk about the monsters. They're all designed fine, some more terrifying than others. Owl Thing and Theta, I'm looking at you. However, I wasn't really a fan of how they implemented our interactions with these monsters. My main complaint being that they really overused the put this scary monster in your path thing, especially in the middle portion of the game. What usually happens is you need to traverse an area or solve a puzzle, but there's a monster or two roaming around. It becomes a game of, go away monster, you're in my way. And really just feels like my time is being wasted. Their AI was erratic and inconsistent, and it was difficult to gauge their behavior and their abilities. Monsters seem to have varied amounts of vision and hearing ability, but it was never really clear, and because you can't hide inside lockers or anything like you could in Amnesia, all you can really do is just avoid them. The monsters aren't even really that scary on their own. The sound and visual effects do an excellent job of instilling a fear of them into you, but it kind of loses its effectiveness when you've encountered them a few times. You don't have a health bar, but when you take damage you start limping around and your vision gets blurry. When a monster catches you, it basically goes boo, and then you black out and wake up damaged with the monster somewhere else. Sometimes it will come back immediately and do it again. Sometimes it won't. I don't really understand this mechanic, but I found it to basically make all the monsters in the game just an inconvenience more than anything. Oh shit, this guy is gonna waste my time. Speaking of wasting time, there's puzzles. They were all too simple, usually involving a power switch, plugging things in, doing something on a computer, or flipping some switches or knobs, and it all just felt like padding more than anything else. Even though I didn't really mind doing them, I wish they had found a more creative way for you to explore and interact with the environment in order to obtain information and figure out how to move forward. At first, you have to examine notes to find passcodes and unlock doors and stuff, but later the game just starts literally giving the passcodes to you. There was never a point I really had to play detective and collect journal entries or tape recordings. All the findable lore was just story details that didn't really have any effect on the gameplay at all and could pretty much be ignored. I feel like there was a huge missed opportunity here, as this is really the meat of the literal gameplay, with monsters sprinkled on top. It's not until the very end of the game where you actually pilot some machinery, and it looks so cool, but literally, all you do is click twice. I had so many ideas about different types of machines you could pilot, different kinds of puzzles to solve, and different ways of playing this game. Comparably, Amnesia had some cool mechanics, like insanity and finding and using tinderboxes as a valuable but limited resource. You could barricade doors with furniture and hide inside closets and stuff. Soma is filled with redundant clutter, ignorable lore, and nothing to collect or use for any purpose whatsoever aside from the key items required to solve the puzzles, and your Omni tool, which is just a glorified keycard only used for opening doors and talking to Catherine. The damn thing didn't even have a speaker on it so that we could talk to her while we were walking around and not at a terminal. And then there are these weird, inexplicable flower things that you can interact with throughout the game, but it's never clear what they do. They sometimes affect the environment and allow you to progress by unlocking doors or activating switches, and I think they restore your health if you have any, as using a flower while limping will correct your vision back to normal, at least. I thought they might have been some kind of collectible, or would impact my character or the story somehow if I gathered enough of them, but alas, this is just not that kind of game. It's an experience, and its strength lies in drawing you into the world, connecting you with the main characters, Simon and Catherine, and luring you further into the mystery. Simon is a great protagonist, easily relatable. Even though I generally disagreed with a lot of the things he said, I still liked him and I found it easy to connect to him. Catherine was also a great character, and also highly relatable and likable. But this game, it preys on your curiosity and your desire for answers. And this is where one of my biggest disappointments comes from. The entire game, you can't wait to find out the big reveal, the big answer, the climax, the culmination of everything we've read and experienced, the explanation for everything, but you never fucking get one. The first half of this game is such a perfect setup for some trippy, sci-fi, mind-bending, reality-breaking something. But the final leg of the game is where it just kind of drops the ball and misses a huge opportunity for something awesome. Everything happens so perfectly predictably that it's almost surprising. Simon launches the Ark, and then the credits, and then he's on the Ark. Yay, the end. Really? That's the ending. Are you kidding me? What the fuck? I didn't even get to hug Catherine. This is bullshit. And there's absolutely no closure on what the WoW is, or why there's monsters, or what that monster guy that talked to you was, or what he wanted, or anything at all. You get to choose whether or not to stick your left hand into a giant sphincter, but it has absolutely no impact on the rest of the game, aside from a single line of dialogue and a few animations where you can see your mangled stump. And that's it. That was the biggest letdown in the story for me. I really wanted to find out what the WoW was about, my relationship to it, what it wanted, what it was doing, but but it's literally a binary question with no consequence and no explanation. I spent the entire game scanning every nook and cranny for notes, and items, and interactions, and lore so I could learn everything I could in order to piece together this crazy enigma of a world. But at the end it just feels so incomplete. They didn't write the ending, or explain anything. They just ended it. The game just ends. And there is nothing to make sense of. It feels like it was all just a ruse to get me curious and intrigued. A trick. And it worked. I just got pissed off when the game was basically like, yeah, you want to know the big secret? There is none. The end. Talk about blue-balled. So yeah, overall, that's pretty much it. Soma is an amazingly engineered experience, but feels incomplete on the story side of things, and the gameplay leaves something to be desired. Definitely a play-at-once kind of game that doesn't have the same kind of charm that Amnesia did, but is still very impressive in its own right, with the very unique setting and immersive atmosphere. There you go. That's Soma. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.